Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back to Inside the Lines. We got a good classic slate for you guys. We're getting to the end of NBA regular season. We're going to get through those games tonight. We got some MLB, some college baseball for you as well. We're going to start the draft conversation. A lot of awesome things that we have for the draft. That I can promise you. Jake is all over it, was all over it last year, and we plan on doing the same again. Before we get into some of the draft, let's take a look at yesterday here. I believe it was an 11-8 day for the team here. Nice sweep in college baseball, Jake.
Yeah, and a couple plus monies in there too with FSU at plus 115. Ronaldo Lopez was nice because he was at 84 pitches after 5 innings. I'm like, please just put him out. And then he gave up a hit, and I'm like, hopefully they don't take him out right now. But then he induced a double play the next pitch, and so that was nice. Getting 2 plus monies there. Blaze Alexander, he had a hit in his first at bat, then he was left on third and after walking, so that was annoying. And the Rangers scored 2 runs in the first 2 innings, had the bases loaded in the third. I think their live line was like 6.5 runs, and they ended up with 3. So that was pretty annoying, but it was a nice plus day.
Yeah, I got 3 dead to me's on my NBA list. Clint Capella, guys who have burned me multiple times in a row. Taylor Hendricks, and who is my third dude? Mike Conley. So 3 dead to me.
We got the S list is piling up just before playoffs. We love to see it. Some of them are going to die in the regular season on the S list with no chance to return, but that's their own fault. All right, before we get into tonight's slates, tomorrow we will be going a lot heavier into the NFL draft, but I have to keep this up here and look at all these green check marks from last year from our guy Jake Fettner, who just absolutely annihilated the NFL draft betting market here. We have very strong plans to be doing the same this year, but I mean, this is pretty awesome stuff. Let's look at one thing that we found, that Jake has found, that really the math is not mathing here. This could be, what do you think, it's a mistake by DraftKings here? But we're looking at Bo Nix. To go in the first round, to have him going in the first round, it would be minus 132 to take him. But there's a different prop where you can get him to go under 32.5, which is essentially the first round, and that's plus money. So what are we seeing here?
It makes no sense at all. It's just a mistake on their end. I mean, I wish you could. I guess could you hedge here? Not really, because there's no first round. I guess you could do the minus 150 for no first round, but there's not really a good hedging option.
No, just if you like Knicks a lot and expect to go in the first round, then take the 120 before they fix it. Because I assume though it's going to change. It's not the minus on the first round; it'll be the plus on the under 32.5 that will change.
Yeah, it's just a mistake on their part. I think they'll change it, but I don't think Bo Nix is going to be a first round pick this year. I think maybe Penix sneaks in, which I gave out that prop yesterday. It's looking like that's trending up after killing his pro day workout. But I think Nix probably is like in the Will Levis train last year, where he had some late steam that he goes in the first round, but it's really false steam, and that unless one team falls in love with him, he's going to fall out.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the random unnecessary steam that we see between now and the draft, like some irrational changes. And we'll do it early show tomorrow for the draft picks, but then we'll definitely take a look right before the draft and see if there's anything bizarre that we can act on or at least avoid.
Yeah, because that's a big thing about Jake's success last year. It was also the timing. You see, he got some significant plus money on Bryce Young to go first because he's tracking it like a maniac and seeing when you're getting plus money like that. So we were talking, unfortunately, this morning. We were trying to look for some really good plus money values and found a few. Had to work a little harder. I also wanted to maybe just to make up for my last few negative comments about Jake, praise him for the fact that one of his incorrect picks was actually spiritually correct. He had Laporta to go be the first tight end drafted at plus 7,500. And even though he wasn't, he was obviously the tight end of the year as a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Who was drafted first? Kincaid?
It was Kincaid.
Yep.
Well, he's not exactly a flop.
No, there are a lot of good guys.
Yeah. All right. We'll certainly hash into this more tomorrow. We got a lot of good picks for you. Just knowledge in general to look at the steam for the draft as things go up and down for some of these players with mock drafts in the betting market, all of that good stuff. Before we get into the NBA, Steven, I'll send you to the chat, see if there's any questions about the NBA slate tonight. Jake, let's get into some baseball for the day. We'll start with the MLB. We'll go to the Marlins, actually, who are facing your Yankees. And it looks like, I guess this isn't hedging happiness. I guess this is
I mean, in the Browns' favor, but
Yeah.
weather's under 3.5 walks. I like this line. We have him at like 2.2 walks, I think, and we don't expect him to go more than 5 innings. And while he's been a little wild throughout his career, I think the under was like 10-3 last year in games he started. And this line was at minus 180 in some books, so minus 155 on BetMGM is pretty good value here.
Mm-hmm. I like that play there. We're going back to the Rangers here. I might be crazy. I feel like we've been on this play before already this season. Rangers over 4.5.
Did I?
Maybe an Astros.
Yeah, I think this is the Astros right here. That did I send the wrong play in? Or yeah, I went Astros team total over 4.5 here.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, I put in the wrong play.
So this was yesterday that didn't hit. So Astros team total over 4.5, minus 125 on Pinnacles, the best value. We have the Astros at 6 runs here. And I mean, if you've seen Yordan Alvarez the last couple of games, he went like, I think he's 14 of his last 25, hitting 560 over the last couple of games. So I think even though Houston hasn't been playing well, I think it's a good spot for them today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the Astros here. I've seen some people on their money line in general too as well. It could be a good spot for them. We'll move down to the college level here. We'll go to UCF Stetson.
UCF Stetson under 12.5. We have this game at 10 runs. It's been hard projecting Stetson home games because they did change the dimensions of their fields in the last couple of years. So it's still adjusting, but still 12.5. These two teams are more pitcher friendly than hitter friendly. I like the under here.
I can't look at Moose's head behind you.
I know. He's going crazy.
He looks bad.
No, he is fine. He's not dying right now. I just want to see it acting like it. He just wants attention.
There he goes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's hit another college baseball play here. We're going to go with Louisiana money line.
Louisiana is the hottest team in college baseball, and getting them at minus 166 is pretty good value. I think they have the nation's longest win streak at 14 or 15 games right now. The biggest this season is 19 for FSU, so they're chasing that. And Louisiana's just playing hot. They're at home against one of their rivals in La Tech. Their bats have been on fire. We would set this closer to minus 200. So you're getting. I don't love playing minus 166 on the money line. If I like pair it to get it closer to like minus 120, minus 110, but sometimes there's just good value here that you got to take.
Okay. Good to know. I will say Jake had 2 other MLB plays that we didn't realize started so much earlier that have already hit. So I don't know if that helps you or hurts you for these other 2 props.
I know. I should just post it on Twitter. I was just I had Yandy Diaz over half a run, and he hit that in the first inning. Mm-hmm. And then I had Logan Gilbert over 4.5 strikeouts, which he hit in the 6th inning. Mm-hmm. So it would have been a nice start. I should have tweeted them out, but I just mixed up the game times. It's on me.
Yeah, you know what? It happens to the best of us. All right. I think that's enough for baseball. I see some questions in the chat if you want to take a look at those and answer them. But me and Steven will head over to the association. Only so much regular season left for us. I guess some of these teams, Steven, you think are trying their best through some 4 quarters. Like, should we stick to the teams that we know are fighting for something? Or sometimes is it the way that the guys playing for nothing end up playing also?
Yeah, I think with the focus on player props, it's just a matter of knowing who's going to play. It doesn't matter. The main markets I would avoid like the plague.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, our boy Gigi Jackson. He's so dead to me after 1 play.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about this beforehand. We tweeted out that a week ago, whatever, when we were talking about whether the Wizards would be favored against UConn, and of course they would be. This Memphis team probably, this one tonight, would not be favored against UConn. They're young. They're not much more experienced than UConn. They're less talented than UConn, and they don't have a lot of chemistry playing together. Even a guy that I've never heard of, but for the last 2 nights has averaged double in 35 minutes. Was cut from the team because they didn't want to sign him for the last 2 or 3 games for the season. So, and then yesterday we're talking about how our model always adds up, and I'm actually lying because the players are such on the scrap heap, and there's all these things going on in the background that usually prevent the model from assuming players without a certain level of proven track record or depth to be projected for a lot of minutes. we're actually under projecting. So the total minutes of our projected players is actually under the 240 that we should have. So this Memphis team is breaking our stuff. They aren't the 18.5 point underdog isn't near the records. I mean, the Warriors but peak Warriors in 2016, 2017 against the worst Philly teams that were tanking for all those years. Those teams would be like 21 point favorites. So that's, so if this was like Denver or Boston healthy versus Memphis, they might be 27 point favorites tonight. But so I'm going to go to the flip side. The one thing Memphis is doing is knowing that they can't beat you playing normally is just going for steals. So they had 10 steals last night. I had Scottie Pippen over 1.5 steals. He had 4, I think, in the first little over half. So I'm hoping that this Memphis team, again, will just be scrappy, just be playing every passing lane, going crazy because they know they can't do it otherwise. So I expect Evan Mobley to have his average, which is closer to 2. His average at home is 2 turnovers, 15 and 8 over. Again, knowing Memphis' strategy. And this was plus money on under his season average, which is what I like, but it's steamed out to minus 110.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, after all that, to go for a turnover play, it's unique. I like it. I actually also played it myself.
Memphis was already third in the league in steals, I believe, or forcing turnovers. So they were already good at it, and that's the only thing they can do given their lineup.
Mm-hmm. Let's head over to Charlotte going to Atlanta here. I saw a question in the chat. I know we have a play we like. Someone asking about Grant Williams over 1.5 3-points made.
We are projecting 2 threes. I'm avoiding my over 3-pointer makes. When I did my own self-analysis on NBA picks, I realized I was thinking on 3-pointers made. But I think that's because I believe in Dylan Brooks too much. But we do like Grant Williams in this spot. Charlotte's scoring more points. The over has been hitting a lot in both these teams. Earlier today, I really love the game over because you could get at 219, but it's kind of ticked up.
What about sorry, real quick? What about Brandon Miller here? I wonder what his field goal his 3-point attempts have been. Let me look.
We have him going 3 for 7 from 3. Probably good value. But the line is probably 2.5. If it's at 3.5, then it's probably really good plus money. So if it's a 2.5, as long as it's not too extreme, I could.
The volume there. He was 4 for 8 on the 9th.
Yeah. No, it's minus 137 on this line. You could probably get a little better than that on Odds Jam. Probably find a better price than that, but that's not bad for a 3 projection.
All right, let's move on to what you like here with Mr. Trey.
I like Trey Mann, because his last 24 games, he's basically been a starting guard. And so in that time, he's 11.5 points per game, over 50% on the over, playing a little over 30 minutes. The last couple of games, he's been getting more scoring. He has scored 11 and 18. And guards that average only 10 to 11.5 points average over 11.5 versus Atlanta. And there's a chance that Trae Young's back today, which could result in more of a shootout, less defense by Atlanta, and more scoring from both sides.
I see Steven asking about Clint Capella for a double-double. I don't know if you're here earlier, but he is on the list right now.
How can someone who's not alive in the gambling sense of the world actually have a double-double? But we are projecting strong double-double value here. Unless the line is like minus 200, I think I'd go for it.
Yeah, if he's not dead to you, but we cannot because he doesn't have a pulse to us, so that's a shame.
Yeah. I think I saw a question about somebody here about Mičić. We have him projected for 7 assists. He's been doing a little less recently, his last game. So I didn't see the game, so I don't know what that was about.
Well, we're not anything if we're not honest. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Toronto, headed to Brooklyn here. Mr. Dennis Schroeder. We give Nets awesome value here. We would make it 17.5 the spread.
Yeah, because RJ Barrett's out now as well. So I don't know if the lines are posted, but this guy Freeman Liberty out last night scored a lot with him out. And Grady Dick didn't play. I'm not sure why. So Jalen McDaniels, who had some on previous teams in past years, had scored. But I'd keep an eye out to see if there's any value on those guys, maybe. I'm going to go again with Schroeder because he burned you, but I don't think he's burned me. So
he burned me twice.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times.
I am fading a season trend because the over is very solid, 24-17 when he is 32 or more minutes. And Dennis Smith, his backup, is out. Dorian Finney-Smith, another scorer, and 3-and-D guy, is out. So I'm hoping that he plays his 32-plus minutes. He had a horrible last game, 1 for 12 in the field, and 0 for 6 from 3. So you can't be that horrible 2 games
I
in a
know.
row.
You gotta do a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's like Dylan Brooks logic. Except
Exactly.
sometimes I just think he's just actually that bad at basketball.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Dallas headed to Miami. Miami 2-point dogs at home here. Are both of these teams playing for some kind of seeding here?
Well, I'm sure everybody is. Dallas is right in the thick of it. There's a big bunch in the West, and you want to obviously avoid the play-in, but also see if you can get in the top 4 seed. But I think earlier today the line was been up to Dallas all the way up to 5, but it's swung back down. So I know there's some questions about Hero and Rozier game time decisions. I see a line posted for Hero, so maybe he's in. Maybe they're still waiting on Rozier. I'm going to go again last day of Ramadan, and we had a Kyrie Irving over assists Ramadan plays. And this was plus money on, again, a number that's well under the season average. So the strong season trends are with us. The last month of Ramadan, he's, again, like every other year, has increased his assists average during that month. And other guards who average a similar number of assists, 4.5 to 5, average a lot more playing at Miami with a 6-2 over. Not sure why.
Yeah, I'm like, for whatever reason, but stats are stats. We're not making this up. That's all I can tell you.
Maybe it's like teams coming from cold weather getting rejuvenated by being in the warmth. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, potentially. Yeah. We got our guy on his last name in Ramadan have to hit the assist prop. I would just be wrong not to.
Nah, can't.
All right.
Can't lose.
Can't lose. Let's go to San Antonio, headed to Oklahoma City. We got Wemby versus Chet here.
No Wemby though. Yeah, he just got ruled out. So that line steamed. It was already pretty high and was already leaning that way. So it didn't steam as much as if it would have had we not expected him to be out anyway. But San Antonio did, without him, just beat that weak Memphis team last night. So maybe they'll put up a stronger fight, which I'm kind of hoping for, because I want Chet to go over his points and assists. We do have slight value on his rebound, but not enough that it didn't make it. It was a better play for just points and assists, and a much better story. Like the points, rebounds, and assist over was like 50-50, but this points and assist line at home is really strong, 27-11. This line was 16.5 at -115 earlier this morning, so it's going up. We want to buy low value because his last 9 games he's averaging only 15.4. He's had 2 good games against the Spurs last 2 times after a bad one to start the season. But I'm hoping that he stays in the game, even if OKC's up big, because Lou Dort is out, Jalen Williams, backup big, is out, and Gordon Hayward, who can play backup power forward, and is also out. So, or game time decision. So I'm hoping that those guys aren't available and Chet stays in the game.
Yeah, it's so funny because just minutes wise, it does make sense that Lou Dort could affect Chet. But it's just in my head, Lou Dort puts up like no stats, 6 points a game, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy out really going to do for us? But
and maybe without him as a spot up shooter, there'll be better. So when Chet passes it out, someone will be actually
someone who will make a basket. This is true. Helps the assist prop for sure. A question on this game was Trey Jones. His rebounds and assist line at 11.
So we are projecting right around 11. So not a good value for the over. And it's no fun to bet unders. So that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, we're never about the unders. Not yet. All right, let's go to Orlando, headed to Milwaukee here. Orlando actually favorites here. Giannis with that calf strain, I believe it was. So he'll be out. He'll definitely be out, right?
Yeah, and Model still likes Milwaukee. It's anecdotal, but they haven't. Giannis, as great as he is, they don't always just what the bed without him. And Bobby Portis is averaging like 22 and almost 11 rebounds in the 6 or 7 games without Giannis this season. So we do lean over. I was hoping to play a Portis line earlier, but it didn't post up recently. But we do like over 28.5 for him. I'm going to go with the person that I should have gone with yesterday, but dismissed in Brook Lopez, but not in his points, which I was leaning towards, but in his blocks and steals because the value is better there. So he averages 2.9 blocks and steals. So, and this was plus money earlier this morning. So this is just a bet that Orlando's got a pretty big front court. So Brook Lopez is already the rim protector, but maybe he'll play even more and be even more active without Giannis there. He hasn't had he could hit this number just on blocks, which is what I like because he averages 2.4 blocks a game. But he hasn't had a steal in his last 4 games, and only I think 1 steal in his last 9, I think. So he's due for a 1 or dare I say 2 steal game. So that's why I like the value here. Again, I loved it when it was plus money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus money made a lot more sense here. Question about Dame here. His point total over 27.5 without Giannis.
Yeah, we do like it. Someone could look it up for me. I don't know what he's average in the games without Giannis, but we're projecting 30 points for Dame.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good to know. Maybe we'll get an answer there in the chat, but we will.
Carter, 8. Wendell Carter, we have at 8 rebounds as well, so no value there. Just that question.
All right, let's go to Minnesota, headed to Denver here. Slight steam on Denver, nothing crazy. 6-point favorites at home. KCP we're headed back to, but rebounds.
Yeah, this was a closer game when Karl-Anthony Towns had a chance of playing, but he was ruled out. So that just did. I don't see a line for Jamal Murray. I don't know what his status is, and I think Aaron Gordon might still be on the injury destination. KCP over 2.5. This is reminding me a little of my Mike Conley bet from yesterday. You know, plus money, but it's not quite his season average. He does average under 2.5, and he averages. So I'm fading this home trend where he averages less. So my theory is Denver's very good, great team, especially at home. He doesn't really have to worry about the boards when they're fully healthy. So he just runs the 3, plays his perimeter defense, only rebounds the ball if it bounces to him. But this game is a big game for the one. They're fighting for the 1 seed with Minnesota. He's got a high-profile matchup with Anthony Edwards. So when Denver is only a 4.5 to 8.5 point favorite at home, so that means they're playing a competitive team, a good team at home. He's over his 8 and 7. Let's see if coaches say, hey, we got to get the boards. We got to do everything we can, and don't just let the bigs pick up everything. So I'm hoping that motivation is there. But prior to his last 1 and 3 over stretch, he did go over in 5 of 6. So his overall, last 7 is actually higher than 2.5, well over 2.5 average.
Bang. That's all we need to hear. What about his teammate Aaron Gordon here to go over his rebound prop at 5.5?
We like him at 6, and I'm going to mention for the 3rd or 4th time that his uncle installed my cable when I lived in Redondo Beach, because I think I hit the prop last time I mentioned that.
All right, good to know. And Aaron Gordon assists. What are we? I'm trying to find him on here.
We have 3 assists.
Okay, so no value there.
I also have a former business partner in a prior life named Aaron Gordon who sued me when I was starting my sports business.
Wow, so glad we got that one out.
Yeah. Long history.
Yeah. All right. We got only one more game to get through here. Phoenix headed to the LA Clippers. I know a lot of people were talking about Westbrook in the chat, potentially having a big game, potentially having a triple-double game at plus 700.
Yeah, we love that value. I mean, so yesterday was crazy. I mean, I was just glad that Bradley Beal wasn't the 4th member of the S list because he ended up scoring 19. Yeah, Phoenix was down. I checked it 34-4. I think they're down 37-6 in the first quarter. Is insane. And they ended up making a game of it, sort of. So the initial steam was on Phoenix slightly. I think everyone's expecting to bounce back, but then the Clippers ruled everyone out. So besides Harden and Kawhi, then even Paul George, and I see Zubac has a game time decision. So maybe the Clippers are just going to tank this game. So yeah, everyone but Westbrook. So Westbrook is a great value at plus 700. I'd be surprised if that hasn't moved already. But I'm going to go with what I hope is a safer bet. So Kevin Durant under 7.5 rebounds. Our model projection went from 5.8 when the Clippers are reasonably healthy to 6.1 with the players that are out. And even though he does have a higher average on the road, the under is over 50%. So he has 6 straight unders. My theory is that he's wearing down. So Kevin Durant, he's been injured the last 3 years, right? He hasn't played a full season since 2018-19 with the Warriors. So the last 3 seasons, he never plays anywhere this much. So he's played 72 games this year, and he is 35 years old. So maybe his rebounding isn't just dumb luck that he's averaging well under 7.5. That it's just that it's not. He doesn't have. He's trying to save his energy for the defense and offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, why would they be throwing this game away?
No, I'm hoping that Phoenix is really annoyed by last night, comes out, wins easily and big, and then Durant sits because they want to give him as much rest as possible.
Right. I was seeing Derek talking about that first quarter. They're down 34-5, and then a Suns fan, I'm assuming, had this planned out before the game, proposed after the first quarter, and it was just like kind of awkward because they were getting annihilated. But
it's memorable.
Yeah.
I got married the same weekend as the Malice in the Palace in Detroit, so that's sort of. I didn't get married in Detroit, but that didn't bode well for a successful marriage, right? With a massive brawl.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
All right. Let's pull up the recap screen of what we have today. Some NBA, some college baseball, some MLB. Of course, we got everything going on tomorrow. Again, we will hit the draft. Any questions that you have, start to brainstorm now because we'll be happy to answer them tomorrow. Would love to get a good giraffe conversation going here. Jake, any thoughts for the people on the draft?
Just make sure if you see any mistakes, hop on those lines as soon as possible because these sportsbooks will correct it as soon as they catch wind. And maybe us showing that probably, I would be surprised if DK has someone watching in.
Yeah, we might be exposed for this graphic. So act now on that Bo Nix. If you like Bo Nix to go in the first round, get him with the under 32.5 at plus money. So apologies to DK if you are watching this, but we got to help out the people. We're show the people here.
Yeah, why don't you just throw us a sponsorship and we'll help make sure your lines are messed up. And then you could actually try to use Jake's college baseball lines rather than trying to poach him or something, which I don't appreciate.
Tell him.
It's happened to me multiple times in my career.
Yes. All right. Well, we won't get you guys all into that. That's a conversation for another time. But we will see you tomorrow. We will be talking about the draft, a few NBA games that we have, any baseball that we could get to, maybe some live betting, but definitely a big draft day tomorrow. Very excited about that. So bring your questions, tell your friends, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.